Hey there, so finally the time has arrived. Okay, in this video we are going to build the game, the most awaited video of this module. So let's quickly get started. Now before starting writing any code, I'll show you the game that we are building. Okay, so we have already seen this game in the introduction video of this module, but I'll show it once again so that it will be like a revision of the game that we are going to build. So I have already compiled the game and already have executable file of that game. So let me directly execute the game. So it's very simple game. It's between human and a machine. It's a very dummy game. Okay, it's very dummy, very simple game. So what you have to do is you will get 3 turns. You just need to enter some number. Okay, and machine will also enter some number, and based on the sum that is going to happen with your input and machine input, it will be decided that who wins that round. And we are going to have 3 rounds, so whoever wins the maximum rounds will win the game. Okay, so let's say in this round, in the first round, let's say we have to enter a number between 1 to 10. Let's say I enter 5 and machine is entering 4. The winner is human, like me. Okay, so the winner is decided based on the sum. So my input is 5, machine's input is 4, sum is 9, which is an odd number. So if the sum is odd number, then human will win. If the sum is even number, then machine will win. That is the strategy. Okay, so this time the sum is odd number, that's why I am winning the round. Let's enter some different number next time. Let's say I enter 7, machine is also entering 7, so 7 plus 7 is 14, which is an even number. So in this case, in this round, machine is going to win. Okay, and now in the next round, let's enter, let's say 9. Okay, and machine entered 8, so 8 plus 9 is 17. So we won the round. Okay, and first round is won by us, last round is also won by us, so we won 2 rounds out of 3, so we won maximum rounds. That's why we are the final winner of the game. So that's the simple game. Okay, now here what things we require. Okay, see, the first important thing is we need to run this game for 3 rounds. Okay, or I will say for n rounds. Okay, we can also modify this game and we can configure this game in such a way that user will be able to choose how many rounds he want to play with the machine. Okay, we can do that. In this case we are playing for 3 rounds, but we can configure that. Okay, this is one important thing. The second important thing is whenever you are playing with machine, okay, you need to write some logic based on which machine will generate some random number. Okay, see, in case of human will be the one who will be entering his own input. Okay, but when I'm saying machine is entering something, that basically means machine is generating some random thing and then placing its value. Okay, there is no any hard coded logic which is written inside the code. I am generating some random numbers every time. Okay, because if I write some hard coded logic, then it's up to me whom I want to win. Like I can win, I can help human to win the game, and I can also help machine to win the game. So it's a random logic that I'm writing inside the code, which is generating random number every time. So it's very hard to predict who is going to win that round. Okay, so that is the next important thing about this code. So let's quickly get started. Let's start to build a skeleton of the code, and then we'll see how we can write the loop and how we can implement the random number generation logic for the machine. Let's quickly get started. Let's start with including the header files. So I'll include iostream first. Let's use namespace std. So I'm writing using namespace std. Then let's write int main. Okay, return 0. Okay, cool. Okay, that's it. Okay, the simple structure. Now see, over here we will create 2 variables. First will be human input and second will be machine input. Now these 2 variables will hold the value of whatever human is entering and whatever machine is entering. Okay, so let me create 2 integer variable, human input and machine input. Okay, so these 2 variables will hold the value of whatever human is entering and whatever machine is entering. Okay, now what I'll do is, see, this is a message that I need to display. Your input in 1 to 10 is to the human. Okay, so let me copy this message. So what I'll do is I'll write cout and I'll paste this message. So basically this message will be shown to the user. Okay, now once this message is shown to the user will enter his input. So to take his input, we'll need to write cin statement, and the human input will be stored in human input variable. That's why I'm writing cin inside human input variable. Okay, I hope you are clear with this point. Okay, now after this, once human enters his number, okay, we need to take the input from machine. Okay, so machine's input, it's stored in machine input variable. So there will be some logic. Okay, there will be some logic which will generate some random number and store that number in machine input. Okay, so over here we'll need to write some random number generation logic. So generate some, or I'll say store some random number. Okay, see, we'll do this part later. Okay, right now let's not worry about it. So what will happen is over here we'll have some logic which will generate some random number and store that number inside machine input variable. And then once we have that number, what we'll just do is we'll print on the screen this small message, that is machine is entering this number. Okay, so what I can do is, let me just copy this message. I'll write machine is entering, and whatever content we have in machine input variable, will print those contents followed by endl. It's very simple. I hope you are clear till this point. Okay, see, what I'm doing is I'm printing this message asking the user to enter his input, and then we are going to have some logic which will generate some random number which will be storing in machine input variable, and then I'm just printing that value on the screen. Okay, now this thing is happening only once. Okay, whenever I'll execute this code, this thing will happen only once. This thing will run only once. Okay, but now what we want, according to the game that I showed you, I want this thing to run 3 times. Okay, so what I can do is I can write a for loop which will run for 3 times. So what I'll do is I'll write for int I is equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. So this for loop will run for 3 times, and inside this for loop I'll write these statements. Alright, let me indent this properly. Okay, cool. So now what will happen, see, this for loop will run for 3 times, so its body will run for 3 times, and that's why these statements will be printed on the screen 3 times. That's why user will get opportunity to enter inputs 3 times. Okay, I hope you are clear with this point. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just execute this code, this much code, and we'll see whether things are working properly or not. So let me clear the terminal. Let's compile the code. G++, the name of the file is 08iogame.cpp. Okay, it got compiled successfully, no errors, no issues in our code. Let's execute it. You can see it is asking us to enter a number between 1 to 10. So let's enter 9. It is printing some random value for machine, because right now we are not storing any number. Okay, so it is some random value. Just ignore this for now. Okay, we'll be filling this statement in a short amount of time. Okay, then it is asking us once again to enter a number. Let's enter 7. You can see this loop is running 3 times and we are entering the input 3 times. Okay, so the first part of the game is kind of done. Okay, we have created a loop, and in that loop we are asking the user to enter his input. Okay, now the second part of the problem statement is generating the random number for the machine. Okay, so to do this, we have one inbuilt function, we have one inbuilt functionality which is provided by C++. Okay, so we are going to use that functionality to generate the random numbers. Okay, see, in one of the upcoming module we are going to learn about a topic called as functions. Okay, see, in C++ we have something called as functions which provide us some functionality. Okay, so there are some inbuilt functions which C++ provides. See, right now I'm not going to go into details about the functions. Right now I'm just going to tell you at high level. See, there are some inbuilt functions which C++ provides. We are going to use one of the function which C++ provides by itself, and the function that we'll be using for generating the random number is rand function. And this rand function is present inside the header file, and name of that header file is cstdlib. See, this rand function, in order to use this rand function, you need to include this header file cstdlib. Okay, so see, there's one cool feature which VS Code provides. If you hover on the function name, see, this is my function name. See, right now, just remember this syntax. You need to write rand and then opening and closing brackets. Okay. So this is the function name. Rand is a function, and this is the function call operator. This is called as function call operator. So this operator is used to call the function. Okay, so I'm calling this rand function, which is provided by C++. Now this is the cool functionality of VS Code. If you hover on this function name, you can see VS Code displays some information about that function. You can see right now it is saying it returns a random integer between 0 and rand max inclusive. Okay, so what this function does is it returns a random number in this range 0 to rand max, where rand max is some variable. It is some random number. It's some, not random number, it's some large number. Okay, so it returns any random number between 0 to rand max range. Okay, now for our purpose, for our game, we don't need numbers from 0 to rand max. Okay, see, rand max can be any number. It can be infinity. Okay, it can be end of the integer range. Okay, we don't need any random number between 0 to infinity. We need a number between 1 to 10. So how we can make sure that this rand function will give us only numbers between 1 to 10. Okay, we want random numbers, but we want them to be in this range, which is 1 to 10. So for this, we can actually use one small trick. Okay, we can use one operator that we already know, and the operator that we can use is mod operator. Okay, see, what happens is we have this rand function which is returning us any random number between 0 to rand max. Okay, now what we can do is we can take mod of the value which rand function is giving us with 10. Now whenever we take mod with 10, what will happen is we'll get the remainder of the division by 10. Okay, and just try to see this very carefully. See, if you divide any number by 10, the remainder is always going to be either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. These are the only possible values. If you divide any number by 10, the remainder values are always going to be from 0 to 9. Okay, so this is the speciality of the mod operator. Whenever you divide any number with mod operator, you are going to get the remainder. And if it is a random number, then by dividing it by 10 or by taking mod by 10, you make sure that the number after mod will always be between 0 to the number with which you are taking the mod. In this case, it is 10. So your result will always be 0 to 9. Okay, and now we want a number between 0 to 10. So what we can do is, after taking mod by 10, we can add 1 to it. So if we add 1 to it, then the number that we are going to get will be always between 1 to 10. Okay, so this is a simple trick that we are applying. Now let's see whether this works or not. So let me clear the terminal. Let me compile this code again. Let's execute it. So let's enter 4. You can see machine is also entering 4. Okay, let's enter 5. You can see machine is entering 7, which is a random number. Okay, let's enter 8 this time. You can see machine is entering 8, which is again a random number which is generated by this rand function. So you can see rand function works well. Okay, this is the syntax. I'll again repeat how this thing is working. See, rand is an inbuilt function which C++ provides. We are calling that function. What this function will do is it will generate some random number between 0 to rand max, where rand max is a big number. Okay, it's a big number. So we know that, let's say, integer has a range. Okay, it has a lowest possible number and the highest possible number. So rand max can be the highest possible number of integer. Okay, so when we generate a random number, we don't want numbers from 0 to rand max. We want numbers from 1 to 10. So in order to get numbers from 1 to 10, what we are doing is we are taking mod with 10. So by taking mod with 10, it will ensure that we are going to get only 10 numbers, 0 to 9. Okay, only these 10 numbers will be possible after taking mod with 10. And then we are adding 1 to it, so that we will get this range which is 1 to 10. Okay, because if we get 0 as the output of this expression, then by adding 1 to it, it will become 1. If we get 9 as the output of this expression, then by adding 1 to it, it will become 10. Okay, so in this way, this expression works. Okay, see, if you want a range to be, let's say, 0 to 20, or I'll say 1 to 20, then in that case what you can do is you can take mod with 20 instead of 10. So if you take mod with 20, then the remainder values, the possible remainder values will always be 0 to 19. Okay, and in this way, by adding 1 to it, the range that you will get will be 1 to 20. Okay, so in this way you can use the mod operator to generate random numbers, or to help generate random numbers in a particular range. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this point. So now we have the loop which is running for 3 times. We have the logic for generating the random numbers. Now the only thing that we need is to decide the winner. Okay, decide the winner for the round and decide the winner for the entire game. Okay, so it's very simple to decide the winner for the round. How we can decide a winner for the round? See, we just have to take the sum of the human input and the machine input at the end of the round. Okay, if this sum is odd, so how we can decide whether it is odd or even? So if I take mod by 2 and if the value is 1, that means the sum is odd. So in this case we can say that human wins the round. Okay, so here I'll say C out, human wins this round. Okay, otherwise I'll write else. If it is not odd, that means the sum is even. So in that case, machine will win the round. Okay, so I'll say machine wins this round. All right. So it's very easy to decide the winner for the round. Now we also need to decide who is the winner for the game. Okay, now in order to see who is winning the game, we need the count. Okay, we need the count of who wins how many rounds in the game. Okay, so what we can do is we can maintain 2 more counters. Okay, I'll create 2 more counters. I'll say human win count. See, initially it will be 0. Similarly, I'll create another variable, machine win count. This will be 0 as well initially. Okay, now it's very simple. See, whenever human wins the round, we just need to increment human win counter. Similarly, whenever machine wins the round, we just need to increment machine win count. Okay, and then once this loop finishes, okay, once this loops end, basically that means that game has got finished. So we just need to check who has got the maximum win count. Okay, so if human win count is greater than machine win count, then we can say that C out, let me print it in stars so that it will be shown in a good way. We can say that human won the game. Okay, else we can say that machine won the game. Okay, see, there is one more scenario here. If the human count and machine count is same, okay, in that case what will happen? But this possibility will never happen, I guess, because we are playing for the 3 rounds. Okay, so human count and machine count can never be same, right? Because let's say if round 1 is won by human, then we have 2 more rounds, so there is 50-50% probability whether human will win or machine will run. I don't think human win count and machine will count will ever become same. Okay, if we have even number of rounds, okay, if we are playing the game for even number of rounds, then there is a possibility, okay, there is a probability that human win count and machine win count will be can become same. But in this case we are playing for all number of rounds, so there is not going to be this possibility. But still, what we can do is we can add one more else if condition. See, if human win count, and I'll just copy this condition and I'll just reverse it. I'll say if machine win count, if it is greater than human win count, then we can say that machine won the round. Okay, otherwise in the else, okay, in the else what I'll say is It's a tie. Let me format the document. See, okay, this is the extra bracket. Let me remove it. Okay, cool. It's very simple. See, if human win count is greater than machine win count, then we are saying human won the game. If machine win count is greater than human win count, we are saying machine won the game. Else, we are saying it's a tie, because human win count and machine win count are equal. So in that case, we can say that machine win count. And I was saying, if we are playing for odd turns, odd number of rounds, then human win count and machine win count will never be same. Okay, that possibility will never happen. But if you are playing for even number of turns, let's say if you change this to 4, then in that case it might happen that human win count and machine win count are same. Okay, it might happen that two rounds were won by machine and 2 rounds were won by human. So in that case it will print it's a tie if that possibility ever comes. Okay, so yeah, this is the game basically. Let's see, let's try running it once again. Let's compile the code, let's execute it. Let's enter the first value. Let's enter 5, machine is entering 4, human won this round. Let's guess the next number. Let's enter 7 this time. Machine entered 7, so this round was won by machine. Now we have the last round, we have to win it basically. Let's enter 8 this time. So if I enter 8, machine entered 8, so this round was won by machine basically, because the sum is 16. So finally, if you see, machine won 2 rounds and we won only 1 round. That's why machine won the game. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video basically. That's it for this game. I hope you enjoyed building this game. I hope you built it with me. Otherwise, you can build it right away and see whether you're winning the game or machine is winning the game. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for watching this module. See you in the next module.